What is up, guys? I'm the Senator, and today we're going to be talking about Peeker's Advantage. Now, we're going to be going over exactly what it is, how it affects every single player in Rainbow Six Siege, or any other game for that matter, and how you can actually use it to your advantage. So, what exactly is Peeker's Advantage? It's something that you experience in every game, and sometimes you don't even notice it, and other times it's just so blatantly obvious. How many times will you be holding an angle on a doorway and then suddenly you're dead? You have no idea what happened, and you look at the kill cam and you see a player poke their head out from the doorway that you're holding an angle on, and they kill you. How can this happen? How can someone kill you without you ever seeing them? This is Peeker's Advantage, and it's something that happens in every single online multiplayer game. So how exactly does this happen? Well, you need to have a basic understanding of how online multiplayer games work. And all you really need to know is that you have three main points of contact. You have the player who's the peeker, you have the server, and you have the player who's holding the angle. And for the rest of the scenario, I'm going to be using Ash as our peeker and Jaeger as the player who's holding the angle in this example. So Ash wants to peek the doorway, so she peeks. That information is then sent to the server, and then it's the server's job to relay that information to Jaeger. But the thing is, that takes time. It's not instantaneous. There's a point where Ash will be looking right at Jaeger, but Jaeger has not yet received the signal from the server that Ash has peeked him. Ash can shoot Jaeger in the head before he even receives the signal that Ash is looking at him. And the severity of this delay can be affected by the player's frame rate, ping, and the tick rate of the server. But mostly ping and tick rate will play the biggest factor in how big this delay is. And for those of you who don't know what tick rate is, it's basically the speed in which the server is able to send out information. The higher the tick rate, the less severe the Peeker's Advantage will be. And high tick rate servers is one of the bigger selling points of Valorant. It's a game that has a tick rate of 128, whereas Rainbow Six Siege has a tick rate of 60. So Valorant has taken a huge step in the efforts to reduce Peeker's Advantage because it is something that has a huge negative effect on games like Valorant, CSGO, and Rainbow Six Siege. However, no matter how fast the server is, Peeker's Advantage will always exist, but it's just a matter of how severe it will be. Okay, pausing the video for a second to remind you to subscribe and hit the bell icon, that way you can be notified every time I post a video. Okay, back to the video. So how does ping affect Peeker's Advantage? Well, the higher your ping, the more severe the Peeker's Advantage will be. If you have a ping of 180 and you're holding an angle on someone who has a ping of 40 and they peek you, you will die before ever receiving the signal that you've been peeked. And if you're someone who has 180 ping and you're the one who peeks the one with 40 ping, Peeker's Advantage will be pretty much non-existent to where you'll just be at a disadvantage. However, Peeker's Advantage does not only just apply to someone who peeks a corner, it also comes into play when you try to take cover. Have you ever noticed that in some games when you're being shot at and you run behind cover, and after you're behind cover for about a second, you die and then you start to rage, you start yelling, "How could I die? I was behind cover." Well, the same principle applies here. On your screen, you were behind cover, but to the player shooting at you, and according to the server, you were still out in the open. The signal that you were safely behind cover had not reached the server yet. So even though on your screen you were safe, on your enemy screen, and according to the server, you were still running. So take that back to the example that I had with Ash and Jaeger. If Ash peeks a corner and misses her shots on Jaeger, she is then at a huge disadvantage because she'll try to go back behind the cover that she was just at, but on the screen of Jaeger, she will still be out in the open even after she thinks that she's safe. And this is why you'll die even after you take cover. So this mechanic is one that will always exist in every game, so it's just best to find a way to use it to your advantage. While there's literally nothing you can do as a defender or anyone holding an angle to flip this into an advantage, as a peeker, this problem gives you a little more insurance and allows you to play more aggressively. So how does Peeker's Advantage reward players who are aggressive? Let's take it back to the example of Ash and Jaeger again. If Ash slowly swings on a corner, scanning the room to find Jaeger, playing that slowly will make it to where the delay is less noticeable for Jaeger, and this is a problem that you'll see a lot in the lower ranks. Whereas if you improve on your mechanical skills and learn to master the quick peek, you'll be able to kill the Jaeger before he even knows what happens. In the scenarios where a defender is up against a wall and looking at the doorway parallel to it, an attacker will typically be wary about pushing it because they know the defender has an angle on it. But if you know where the defender is and if you play aggressively and push through, the defender will die before they know what happens. This is why there are so many instances where you can push into a doorway and the enemy will be hard left of it, and somehow you'll end up winning the gunfight. You'll run in, you'll turn left and see the enemy, and you think that, hey, I should be dead by this point. But the delay between the server and that player allows you to have the advantage. The truth is, they're able to look at you for almost a second, where you only saw them for about a tenth of that time. And this also shows the importance of having great internet connection. And if you're someone who tries to play competitively and you're constantly dying, high ping will only worsen Peeker's advantage. So I know it sucks, it's frustrating that you die to people that you can't see, but hopefully you now understand why this is happening and you can stop breaking your keyboard when you die because of this, because it's not always your fault, it's just the game. And this is one of the few instances where you can actually say that. And if you think Ubisoft is going to do anything to, make this problem not as severe, don't hold your breath. I honestly don't think that Ubisoft will fix this anytime soon or make any efforts to increase the tick rates of their servers, because let's be honest, they can't even handle the cheaters, and I'm still dying to nitro cells in Terrorist Hunt. So it's best that you just try to adapt and use this broken mechanic to your advantage, and because of Peeker's advantage, it'll definitely pay off to be more aggressive. And so to the players who are really generally passive in this game, just stop, because it pays off so much more to be aggressive. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you can be notified every time I post a video. I am the Senator, and as always, have a good one.